So I've just spent the morning cleaning plant pots. It is as exciting as it sounds. I've been using a pressure washer all morning and just cleaning out all these pots, empty the soil out of them, empty the plant out of them if there's a plant in them, empty that out, and then stand back and jet wash all these plant pots. I did take some footage of it, not too much, but I will show you that footage now. Do any of you gardeners out there ever get asked to do the impossible? You ever get a customer, it's probably more for people that are doing jobs on hourly rates, you know, you can turn up to the job and you may have 2 hours there or 3 hours and you just do whatever the customer wants you to do. This morning I turned up to my first job and the lady I work for is lovely, you know, I'll do anything for her and anything, you know, she's ever so nice. She's been ever so good to me in the past, but sometimes she does not have any idea of how long things take to actually get the jobs done. So for example, this morning I turn up to work and I do 3 hours at this one property, and what I do is I get there and normally the customer will run me through what she wants me to do today. She will say this. So anyway, today I get to work and first thing is I need to clean all these pots off, clean off all these plant pots, which is fine, there's no trouble. Then she wants me to clean off 2 patios. So 2 patios, I'm thinking, right, so plant pots. Now the plant pots, I'm not joking, are in, there must be about 50 plant pots, and they're all pretty big, they're all pretty mucky, they all need emptying. So that in itself is a big task to do in 3 hours. So now we've turned around and said, also while you're at it, while you've got the pressure washer on the go, clean these 2 patios off. The patios aren't massive, but again, it's time to do it. So I'm saying, yeah, okay, okay. And then we go to, she takes me inside and she says, oh, after all of that, we need to get down all these hooks out of the walls and everything like that. I mean, in all honesty, we're reeling off jobs now. We're walking around the house and we're reeling off jobs, and this needs to be done, this needs to be done. I'm sort of over it already. I know none of these jobs are going to get done on this day because it's just impossible. I'm there for 3 hours. I have to set the pressure washer up. I have to empty all the pots. I have to stack them all so that they can be easily packed away. It's just an impossible task I've been given. It is absolutely glorious. It's about 15 degrees. I could well be mowing this week. I could well be mowing. If I do, it'll probably be tomorrow. All my other jobs this week will probably be pressure washing again and bits and pieces. But if it stays like this, it will be getting things sorted. I haven't got my mowers or anything sorted out. I don't really know. I mean, I want to get all the oils and that changed on them before I start into it big time, but I won't be I won't be cutting regularly at the minute. I know there are guys out there doing it. I've seen people on Instagram, UK guys that are mowing now sort of weekly, but none of my properties are, you know, I cut late. I cut quite late into December. I think the last mow I done was sort of 18th, 17th of December, something like that. So all my lawns are fairly tidy looking anyway. So none of them are getting out of control growth wise. Obviously I'd like to be mowing. I prefer mowing than general gardening, and I prefer mowing to pressure washing, but because I don't need to be mowing at the minute, I would rather get all the other little jobs finished off, bits and pieces finished off now, so that in like 2 weeks time I can get then everything will be done, you know, so the patios will all be nice and clean throughout the year. All the little fiddly bits and pieces will be finished off, rather than mow this week and then next week and have to bring pressure washers all back out again. I'd rather be done with all the pressure washing, finished off with that. So I've just had a neighbour turn up and check on me. I've had, because no one's here, she see the van and just thought she would come and make sure I wasn't robbing the place. I let her know that I'm going to do some gardening first, and then I'll rob the place after. But no, it's nice to know that, you know, people in the community are checking out for each other, keeping an eye on things. So always, you know, got to be wary of things. So she just checked on me, made sure I was legit, I suppose. Anyway, I've got my gear set up. Can't find my little hand snips. I can't think where the heck they are, but they're probably somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to continue on. See where I sort of got to here last time, and I'm just going to continue on that way and do a few bits for a couple of hours, so see how we get on. So I've just finished at my digging job for 2 hours of digging, and the customers aren't there. They've been away for sort of 3 weeks, so I have left them a note to say, I left them a note last time, I left them a note this time just to say that I have been there, done my 2 hours of gardening. And I know he's fairly good. He will pay me sort of straight away as soon as he's back. I find you've got to let him know you've been there, even though if he walked around the garden, I'm sure he could tell that I have been in. I mean, he's now had 2 visits since he's been away, so I want to just make sure that they know I've been there. Sometimes in those type of jobs where you've got to go in for hourly work and you know the customers aren't going to be there, sometimes you will hear this little voice on your shoulder, this little devil, that will say, go home early. You know, sometimes you may be there for 2 hours and you may get to the end of, you know, the first hour and say, right, I'm not going to chip away a little bit early. Oh, God, these roads. Jeez, man. Anyway. So yeah, you may sometimes hear this little voice on your shoulder saying, go home early. And you could quite easily go there for 1 hour and be paid for 2. I'm not saying I've ever done it, I'm not saying I've never done it, I'm not, but don't do it. Whatever you're paid to do, if you're paid to be there for 2 hours, do 2 hours. People, they will find out. They always do. You will go home early, the customer will come home, you will go home early and someone will come and visit you. You know, there's some way. I've even now got customers that have cameras up, not to watch me, I hope, but they have security cameras up at their place, and I know for a fact that they know which time I turn up and they know exactly which time I disappear. So just be honest and do your time. So I'm back at the retirement place, and we are not going to cut grass today. It's not too bad. It's a little bit wet, but it's not overly long. So what we're going to do today is finish off the hedges. We have only one small section of hedge now to finish off. We get that done now, and probably in a fortnight's time we'll be cutting grass here.
So I'm cutting this hedge, and I just thought I'd mention the other side of this hedge is a pathway, and it is literally on the hedge boundary. It's right next to it. Always have to be a little bit careful of general public. Obviously you're going to be walking past. On this job in particular, the road itself is very, very fast there, so always have to maybe have a cone out or something like that. You do really need to have eyes in the back of your head sometimes, though. I've found that the general public or the customers you're working for, they'll have no real worries about just walking straight past you, you know, even though you're using, you know, whether it be big hedge cutter or strimmer. I've had customers come up behind me and tap me on the shoulder or something like that, to ask me a stupid question, you know. And as much as I try and keep everything safe and everybody safe, unfortunately some people just don't realise, you know, how close they are to danger. So I try and keep myself as safe as I can, and I don't want to hurt anybody. I suppose that's why we have public liability, just because sometimes people don't realise, you know, even it could be something daft like the, you know, hedge clippings flying off into someone's eye. As I say, this hedge is directly on the pathway, so when I'm cutting it from this side, I'm not trying to reach over too much, because I know that if someone's walking the other side, you know, I'll be cutting at head height, so I don't ever lean over this hedge and cut the top of it from this side. If anything, I'll go to the other side of the hedge and cut the top of it from the other side. And then, like I say, you just need eyes in the back of your head. A lot of the times it's me and Dad doing it together, so Dad will sort of spot for me or watch out and, you know, give me a tap on the leg or something like that if he can see someone coming this way, because we've had it many times before. You know, people be walking their dogs, they won't cross over the road or anything like that, they'll just be heading straight for us. So every winter job that we do at this place, whether it be hedges or clearing up some moss, tidying up some of the flower beds, all our winter jobs are done now. So next visit we come here, we'll probably be mowing. I would have liked to have gone around and edged all the pathways up, but unfortunately spring is sort of going to be upon us now. So yeah, watch this space. Next video you see us here will probably be a mowing video.
So me and my dad have had the morning together, and we just finished at the retirement place. Now normally today I wouldn't have nothing else to go on to in the winter time. In the summertime we normally have 2 other jobs to go on to after the retirement place, but in the winter time we don't tend to have anything going on. But today I'm going to go and do one of my Wednesday jobs, and that is purely because I've seen the forecast, and apparently the forecast weather-wise is getting fairly miserable for Wednesday. It's going to be a bit of a wet day, and the rest of the week look a bit sort of on and off. So I want to try and give myself a little bit of a head start. So this job that I'm going to now is one I normally would get done on the Wednesday, but also I'm pretty sure I've left my secateurs down here, and I can't do. If I can't find my secateurs at this job, I'm just going to go and buy myself another set, because I'm pretty convinced they're not in this van, and normally I would just chuck them in a bucket and find them the next time, but I can't find them at the minute. So they're either this job. I'm pretty sure last time I used them was last Wednesday, so I'm going to check out this job, make sure, hopefully find them. If if I can't find them, I'm just going to get a new set. So I've just had 2 hours of weeding again. No problem. Found my secateurs. Everybody called off the search. Found my secateurs. All right. As soon as I got there, the lady came out and said found these in the garden the other week. So I do try and go around everything and make sure I've picked up all the gear. But sometimes you just miss a couple of things like that. But I suppose you've got to have backup pairs for that sort of thing. I have an old pair that have seen me buy for the last few days, but I like my orange ones. So yeah, it's good to get them back. I like jobs like I've just done, the 2 hours of weeding. That place there is ideal for 2 hours, because there's always going to be something to do there. There's nothing worse than if you're doing 2 hours of maintenance for somebody and you're on top of things. And in fact, what I'm going to try and change this year with the business is a lot of the jobs I was doing last year that were 2 hourly garden maintenance. When I got there last year, a lot of the places were mucky. When I first picked those sort of gardens up, they were in need of 2 hours of garden maintenance. Now that I'm on top of things and got the gardens looking good, they no longer need 2 hours every week. I can get their gardens looking good probably within an hour and a bit. So I'm going to try and change a few little bits around this year, and I'm going to offer the customers something different. Not 2 hours. I need to sort of tighten that time up a little bit. In fact, what I was doing last year towards the end of the year, or towards the end of the growing season, I'd picked up so much work, and I know I'm going to do another video soon about the advertising. That'll be coming in the next week or so, I'm sure. But my adverts had worked pretty well, that I'd picked up so much work. And what I was starting to offer people was what I was calling a fly-in visit. And what it basically was, that I would go in for a set price every fortnight or whatever it was, or twice a month, something like that. And what I was doing was going around everything, whether it be so for example, one of the guys I went to, I cut his grass every week, and I literally just ran down all the bushes down the side of his house every time, just keep them looking tidy. I was there for 45 minutes, and he was happy with that. Didn't need to be there for 2 hours, and the money I was earning was sort of around about my 2 hourly sort of stamp anyway. So that worked fairly well for me. And I say I've done that probably with three different customers, and that worked really well for me. And that's going to be something I'm going to try and do a little bit more of this year. So each and every person that I got on the flying visits, I said to him before I started, I said, look, if you're unhappy after the second visit, or you don't feel like you're getting your money's worth after the second visit, just say to me, look, thanks very much for all your hard work, see you soon, and tell me not to worry about coming back. But I was more than confident that doing the little flying visits, that each customer would get their money's worth out of me, and I wouldn't have to be around for 2 hours. I think say that one guy was there for 45 minutes and nearly earned just as much as I would do in a 2 hour cycle. But I say it won't work for everyone, I won't pick everyone up, but it was just something that worked for me at the end of my year. Because I was very busy, I could then sort of experiment a little bit with the price. But I say that's going to be something I'm going to try and expand more into this year, is not nailing myself down with too much time. I don't want to be going to people for 2 hours every time, but so it's going to have to be something that I'm going to have to try and see how it goes.